Have you ever watched price hit your stop loss, then explode in the original direction you had planned? If this is something that happens to you frequently, I want you to lock into this video because that's not bad luck. That's literally smart money at work. So today, I'm going to be breaking down how institutions move in the market and how you can begin to get a piece of the moves that they make. I want you to lock in today on this video. So grab your pens and your notepads and let's get into smart money concepts the right way. Welcome back, All Stars family. If you're new to this trading space, I'm Kerry, and this is where I take you from zero to profitability land. If that's something that you're interested in on your trading journey, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It don't cost you nothing. No, I want to drop some solid value on you today because we're talking about smart money concepts, and I want you to understand that this is where we don't guess, we're not confused, but we look for clean, high probability setups with smart money. So let's break down what exactly is smart money, because that's the first thing. So what exactly is smart money concepts, otherwise known as SMC? It is literally the logic behind large institutions and how they trade. We call these large institutions smart money, right? And it's all about the price sweeping those highs or those swing lows or breaking structure. It's all about the change of character, leaving the fair value gaps. And this is really what you have to understand. Instead of chasing indicators or random breakouts, smart money traders study three core things. Number one is market structure. So you've got to be able to understand the structure of the market. Where is price trending or where is it shifting to, right? You have to understand liquidity, right? You will have where those stop losses are. You will see that liquidity will be grabbed, or what we call sometimes a stop hunt, before price moves in its desired direction, right? You will have imbalances, which means that price takes off aggressively, leaving fair value gaps and actually coming back to fill those gaps eventually, right? So all of this is really the core three things that smart money concept traders actually look for. We look for market structure, we look for liquidity, and we look for imbalances within the market. Smart money hunts liquidity first, just like you see it did here. It hunts liquidity before it goes where it's intending to go, right? And you have to begin to see this. And once you do, everything will begin to make sense. Because possibly right here, you may have lined up a short position, right? Saying, okay, price is there. And potentially your stop may be directly here where they triggered it before it came down. So you'd have been stopped out of a trade like this before price moves in the original direction you had in mind. And you were not wrong, you were just not patient enough to wait for the liquidity grab to take place before you enter that trade, right? So I want you to get that aspect, and it's very solid when it comes on to SMC. So let's go into the whole idea of this video, because now you understand what smart money is all about and the three main aspects of it that we look out for. Now is when we get into the whole chart markups and all those phenomenal stuff. So let me just delete everything here, right? We're in TradingView. And being in TradingView, I want you to be on your higher time frame, right? So in TradingView, we're going to go to our higher time frame. So you can see that we're on NAS 100, we're on the 4-hour time frame, right? Now, what we need to do is we need to come to this tab that says indicators, right? And when we come to indicators, we're going to be searching for what? Smart money Concepts. This one by LuxAlgo, that's used by 93.8K users, right? We'll click on that so that we get it added to our charts, and we'll close. Now, once it's on, you'll see automatic, break of structure. As you can see, you're going to see automatic change of character. You're going to see liquidity zones. You're literally going to see premium and discount price, right? So I want you to understand that this is just a simple way of marking your charts without you doing it. So you just have to put this indicator on to highlight these levels for you. This saves hours of manual markup, and it helps you focus on the most important things, which is reading structure. It is showing you what is actually happening. It's showing you the language of the candles, right? So save yourself some time, and you can use this to begin to look at price at a different level, all right? So how do we, break down all of this? How do we understand it? What is it all about when it comes on to understanding market structure with this? Right? Now, I'll zoom in so that you can clearly see, right? Now, you can see that we're in a trending market here, right? Ideally speaking, if I take a trend line, you can see that we're respecting that trend line, right? Perfect. Now, a break of structure in this case here is referring to the fact that we're creating higher highs as we go along, right? So a break of structure means the current trend is likely to continue. That's what we're continuing, the trend, right? So that's why you're seeing BOS above these levels, because we're breaking structure to go higher, right? Now, you're looking here and you're seeing where we've got equal highs, which means like we've got a double top, basically. No, in this case here, you're seeing change of character. A change of character means a possible shift, right? Like basically we were bullish all along, and now you see that we're outside of the same trend line that I've drawn. We're outside of it. That means we've changed character, because that is a potential opportunity for shorts to take place. Short positions can be in place from these areas, right? Because we were previously bullish. So a change of character is really just where this bullish market right here, it's shifting, and the bullish people have lost their power. They're not so strong enough. And of course, the sellers have taken over. That's literally it. All right. Now, with the LuxAlgo Smart Money Concepts, right, you can actually plot these zones and understand what they're doing way easier, right? That's your signal to start planning and not, react. Because when it gives you the outline, you can plan to begin to take your move, right? Now, a break of structure was identified here because we closed above this level. And what did we do before we even, went higher? This is the 4-hour. What did we do? We pulled back into retest structure before going higher, right? Retested again, and we went higher. So this is really where you set yourself up to plan your trade rather than just reacting to price as price gives this impulse. So you allow the indication to show you what price is doing, and then of course you set your plan up based on that indication, because there must be a correction so that you can get into the continuation of the journey. So I want you to understand that structure tells you what side of the market you should be on. So that's why market structure is fundamental. It is a core part of your journey. It tells you what price is doing. So pay attention to market structure. All right. Now, let's touch on a bit of liquidity and what we call the institutional traps. Now, I want you to understand that we've got highs and we've got lows. All right. Now that we've got highs and lows, oftentimes when we've got a high, there may be what we call a sweep of that high, which means that price pushes above it, wick above. It could be a wick, it could be a body, and then come back down into the zone. All right, let's have a look at this area that we had a lot of change of character going. Each time price came back to this zone, we pushed higher and higher, grabbing all the liquidity that was there before selling off, right? And I want you to pay attention to that because these are traps, right? That you have to begin to pay attention to. Now you see that liquidity means clusters of stop losses. There are a lot of stop losses above these levels, right? And because there is a lot of stop loss above these levels, institution push price into those zones to grab those stop losses. That's literally what they do. And you're probably going to say, oh, they're mean. They're just doing what they know what to do. And you have to learn what they're doing so that you're not caught in this. No, sometimes you're gonna be caught in it because I'm caught in it sometimes as well. It's just a part of the process. But at the end of the day, to maximize on minimizing the amount of liquidity grab that takes you out, you have to be patient enough to wait for the liquidity grab to take place. All right? Now, this is going to put you in a mode of waiting instead of chasing. Because a lot of times when we have these zones marked up, we just run in and we don't wait for the liquidity grab, right? We wait for that grab. We need to see some wicks above the areas, right? Wicks indicating that that's our liquidity grab. Now we can get in, because if we see this here, if we go down to our execution area in a lower time frame, you'll begin to get clearer indication that, okay, that's a plausible way to get into the market because we've grabbed the liquidity here. Now we get it, right? If you look, this is our zone. We've grabbed the liquidity by pushing above, creating a weak high, and then, of course, a lovely, lovely, lovely bearish engulfing candle on our 30-minute. Your opportunity to get in on this sell, right? So this is your level, right? Some people will say it's a resistance level. That's fine. It is resistance. We wicked above it, closed below. The closure of the candle, the body has closed below. Wick above, grabbing liquidity, triggering stop losses, and then moving in the desired direction. So I want you to understand that these are false breakouts at times, and you have to pay attention to market structure to begin to eliminate those unnecessary losses within your trading, right? Because once liquidity is taken, smart money reverses price in the real direction, which is literally this, all of this. Yeah. So you'd wait for this. Once this happens, then of course you'd really be going in on a short position, putting your stop above that area, and then targeting what you normally target or your next low level, right? Because this was a low, so more likely when price comes here, you'd see that it would react. So yeah, that's how simple it is. It's easier said than done, and I want you to understand that. But at the end of the day, it's really just the practice. The more you do this, the easier it becomes, and that's just a fact. Right? So pay attention to market structure, pay attention to the liquidity, because the fundamental thing about this indicator is that it marks these levels, right? So you're waiting for the levels to be marked. Once they're marked, then you are able to pay attention to the levels so that you can use them as fuel for profits, right? So you wait for the sweep and not get trapped, right? That's how simple it is. Right? I want you to understand that bit. You have to wait for it and then you enter. Okay? So, I want to begin to discuss a little bit on what we call zones, right? Now, what the smart money has done here, it's highlighted some zones. You can see them as red and blue. Okay? If I go 1 hour, you're still going to see red and blue zones. Now, what are these zones really? Right? Now, I want you to understand that smart money calls them premium versus discount zones. Now, if you've never heard of that, make note of it. Now, I want you to understand that smart money doesn't buy anywhere. They don't buy in the middle of anywhere, right? They buy at discounts and sell at premiums, right? Now, you see these red areas on the charts that has been highlighted, red areas. You see them. The red areas are really your premium or your sell zones, right? Premium or sell zones. This means that when price comes to these levels, there's strong potential for sells, right? Now you can see that this was a sell zone. This was one, price grabbed the liquidity, came back and grabbed more liquidity, and then of course it's doing, potentially it came right here, wicked below, getting some pips in, not a lot, but some. And of course, these blue zones, on some of you charts, it may be green. These blue ones are literally your discount, which means that you buy at these levels. These are your buy zones. So sell zones, buy zones, otherwise known as your premium and your discount. Okay, so we sell when things are premium and we literally buy at discount. Okay, that's just it. Now, I want to set you up here for success with this. So I'm going to be breaking down how you can look for liquidity sweeps and how you can be there catching solid moves on the charts when you're looking at this lovely, lovely markup and how to capitalize on the entire journey. So let's see if we can go to Bitcoin, right? And being on Bitcoin, what we want, you can literally see that Bitcoin is on massive sell-offs, right? Now, there has been a break of structure at this level, and we're really consolidating around this area a lot. Now, potentially, we could be looking for short positions, right, along this zone to come back into here, right, to this low, right? Now, we have to wait for the liquidity grab to take place and everything to take place when price hits this zone. That's how simple it is. So we could set an alert and we could wait for Bitcoin to get there. And once it gets to that zone, we'll be patient enough to wait for a liquidity grab, and then we could get in for short positions. Now, right around this area where we've got break of structure, yeah, you can see that Bitcoin has been selling around this area. Now, it's really in consolidation mode unless I get a strong bearish engulfing candle and a proper indication around this area, then I won't take a trade because we're really in consolidation zone. If I put this in a box, we've literally been in this zone. So we need to be outside of it to get a clear indication as to what price is doing. But this is a potential because this is a strong zone, right? Strong zone that we could literally sell from, right? Now, you want to begin to look even at this low that we've got here. It's indicating that this is a strong low. Now, because it's a strong low, we could potentially even be waiting for price to come all the way here to react to the strong low. And when it reacts and it gives us, wick rejections, bullish engulfing candles, we could set up ourselves for success by buying back into this area. Right? As simple as that. Okay? Setting up for a 1 to 3 right around this strong low zone, because more likely what will happen is that we'll get a liquidity grab. Once we get the liquidity grab, that would be your indication with that powerful candle confirmation that we could get into a buy around this area, right, at 102 thereabouts. Okay, so I want you to begin to pay attention to this smart money concept and look for the opportunities that lie within these areas, right? Right now, there is no move on Bitcoin, but these are potential opportunities that you could look into, right? Now, let's say we are going to look for a setup on gold. Let me see. So if we're going to be looking for a potential setup on gold, fundamentally, I love what's happening right here. And I really believe if I go to the 1 hour, yeah, this is a zone that we've got this zone highlighted, right? Highlighted based on the whole idea of price being discounted, okay? So we've got this zone, and what did price do? Price broke out of the zone, pulled back into the zone, took off massively. And it came back for us who missed that rally. Price is now back in this zone for us to take this thing to the roof, right? So even if you wanted clearer indication, what better indication would you have than even getting in at these areas and aiming for that level and even potentially beyond that level, all right? So I want you to begin to pay attention to these zones. They're magic zones, right? And you don't have to do all the markup on your own. You're able to use and leverage this tool by LuxAlgo to tackle the markets with much more confidence, right? So I want you to understand that this is a weapon that you can begin to use in the markets. If you're getting any value from this so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It don't cost you nothing, and give us a thumbs up on this video. Drop it in the comments if you've ever used this or if you're going to use it based on what I've showed you in this video. Let me know. I want to know. Okay, so I want you to understand all this. It's market structure. It's not any rocket science, it's just market structure. You have to use market structure. It tells you everything about the market. So begin to use it. So listen, when you combine smart money concepts with LuxAlgo, you're not guessing anymore. You're reading the markets like the banks. And I want you to understand that market structure is fundamental. Liquidity is fundamental. Zones are fundamental. And you'll start spotting cleaner entries and fewer fake outs with this tool. So drop a comment saying SMC if you got any value from this video that I dropped today. And I want you to actually make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button because it don't cost you nothing. I'll drop the next video on how I combine SMC with support and resistance for sniper entries. But before I do that, make sure you watch this video on fair value gaps to begin to understand imbalances in the market. I'll see you in the next video. Remember to put God first in everything you do, because if He's in it, without a doubt, you must win it. See you in the next video. Bye. Love you all.